Willkommen, Huanan, and welcome to FTR Full Throttle Racing's Division 2 round 7 of 11 races in this particular season. My name is Webbo. I'm here to take you through tonight's race. We're at the Sochi Autodrome for this round in our championship, and it's the start of Q1. We should have 3 sessions of qualifying for you. 18 drivers ready for us at the start of this session. Whether we will expect any further ones will remain to be seen. I can tell you a driver transfer has been that Lord Cypher has come into the league on a permanent basis, and unfortunately tonight we will not be joined by Stoffel, who is missing tonight. But I will talk you through our championship as things stand, if I can do that before the first lap on the tyres. I'm informed that we're going to have dry qualifying and a race, despite the appearance of the pit lane, which looks pretty overcast. We've got, in terms of championship tonight, Shakes leads the championship on 122, and Brad on 114 points, followed by Stoffel's 105, which won't improve tonight, of course. Then we've got Avalak, league owner, on 84, Solsmeister 74. Donovan on 69, Punaki on 65, then comes J-Boy, Sergeant Panda, and burn it down the top 10. We're waiting for Dan and Saki Benny to score, but they won't do. Dan may well do tonight, but Saki Benny is not around, I don't think, for tonight's race. And then in the Constructors' Championship, as I'll just find our drivers out there. I think it's the Red Bull of Bota who is the first guy out on track. It is quite a long track here, so time enough for me to take you through the Constructors' Championship standings. Ferrari, remember this Constructors' Championship is joint with the Premier Division. Fantastic feature of Full Throttle Racing. Actually, do you know what? Looks like it's actually Esitronic. No, scratch that. It's Ron who's first on track. So let's ride with Ron. And I'll talk you through the Constructors' Championship when we next get a quiet moment. Heading down then to what is the official turn 2, the first real braking zone, and the treacherous track limits corner on the left-hand side, as you then go through this long sweeping turn 3 before a right-angled right-hand corner. Get used to them. Turn 4. We will then go down a little short shoot down to a right-angled right-hander, turn 5. A small kink of turn 6 is a flat-out acceleration zone before finding a braking zone into a right-angled right-hander, turn 7. Then, just to change things up, we'll go through a right-angled left-hander of turn 8. 9 is a little kink, and then we'll have another right-angled right-hander onto the next main straight with the DRS zone here, the second straight of the circuit. You could call it the back straight, I suppose. Then very tricky braking into turn 13, 14. Again, a very gentle, difficult acceleration zone before we get ready for yet another right-angle corner. This time a left. The crest between that turns 15 and 16 we just went through, very difficult under low grip conditions. Then we have a pair of right-angled right-handers to finish the track, turn 17, turn 18, and you need a good exit out of here to get a long slipstream down into the next corner. Ron then a 1:33.510. It's not a track I see a lot of racing lately for fairly obvious reasons, but we will see how the times compare. Donovan a 32.5. Botta got a 34.2, Esitronic a 34.9, and Lord Cypher gets in a 34.1. Ricky Lau a 33.4. Times coming in fast, thick and fast here. Jacques is coming round to finish the lap as well. He'll be hoping for a slightly more fortunate race than last week. On the way out of the corner, you've barely dealt with the corner before you are crossing the start-finish line. He's got a 32.9, so has Martin, a 32.906, just at pips Jacques, and we may have a lap closing out for J-Boy. Hi to Hanko, hi to everybody else watching who has yet to say hello and tell us, most importantly, who you are, and secondly, who you're here to support. And we'll follow with J-Boy on this lap. Punaki's on track as well. He's often quite a popular driver among the viewing audience. But let's see how many drivers we eliminate in this session. I would imagine 3, but it could be 4. But at the moment, it's Donovan, Martin, and Jacques, the top 3. J-Boy somewhat at a different timing strategy here, heading into the second sector complete and all going well. Track where I expect to see a lot of track limit penalties throughout the race, and a lot of lap invalidations on the second runs when people start to really push. Out of the final corner comes J-Boy for a provisional, fastest time by a single thousandth of a second. He pips Donovan, and that is, well, it doesn't get much closer than that apart from an identical time. 1:32.500 for J-Boy, 5:01 for Donovan. Closing out his lap comes Punaki, one more corner to go. Just hanging onto the car, slightly off camber these turns, and he goes P6 right in the middle of the order and shakes. Championship leading Ferrari team. He's been trading wins with his teammate Brad and also with Stoffel at the moment, and having a really good time. Now I did mention about Donovan and the last race. Of course, we had some problems with the lobby last race out, so I didn't get to participate in the race. I might actually be referring to the previous race prior to last week, so apologies on that one. Saki Benny has he's the driver that has been replaced by Lord Sofa, and as I mentioned before, Stoffel and Burn It Down unfortunately not with us tonight. So 18 drivers, Q1. The first run's almost complete now. Shakes about to cross the line, set a new benchmark time, I imagine a 32.417. It's pretty close, and Dan is the next one to start a lap. I think Avalak might be a bit further on around the track, so we'll ride with Avalak. Don't forget, if you're watching with us tonight, to subscribe to the Full Throttle Racing channel. Make sure you don't miss Premier Division as well as Division 2 here with me, and also do us a favour and leave a little thumbs up like on the video at some stage through the proceedings. That would be very much appreciated. I'll just check in with the drivers once again, the driver chat, and make sure I'm not missing anything. And yeah, just to confirm from Panda that it is going to be a dry quali and race. So despite those clouds in the background, Tormund is here and he says Forza Ferrari. So I don't know if Tormund is a Ferrari driver in the Premier Division, as Avalak goes P3, a 32.481. Looks like the time's really converging now at the top of the order. I know Dan was on a lap and still looking for his first points in the season here. So good to hear from Tormund. Who else is here supporting Ferrari or otherwise? As I say, I know Punaki gets a lot of love. Crossing the line then goes Dan, a 33.3. Just 9/10 away from the front row. Solsmeister in the top 10 of the championship, but perhaps not as high up as he'd like. Onto the back straight, or the back flat out section. It's hardly straight, is it, this one? And Tormund is indeed a Ferrari Premier Division driver. I love the fact that the Premier Division drivers get involved and tune in for Division 2. As I was explaining, the Constructors' Championship is a combined award across divisions, so you get a lot of support. I would hope a little bit of mentoring as well for the F2 guys, the Division 2 guys, I should say. Getting out of the final corner then, Solsmeister leaving a couple of tenths perhaps in that final corner, but a 32.8 is a good place to attack the racetrack for the next run. Just under 8 minutes to go. We're past halfway in this Q1 session, as finally Brad makes it out on track for a run in the Ferrari. I'll watch him, and then my attention will be focusing more on the drivers on the bubble of elimination, because we won't see them again until race time. Double wave yellow in sectors 1 and 2. Passing pretty quickly, no problem there. Little short shifts just to control the traction, and a new fastest time. Brad goes 1:31.8. That's significantly faster. That's 0.6 of a second faster than his teammate Shakes. So Brad absolutely stamping his authority straight away. Still to set a time is Panda and Wezo. Lord Cypher has retired from the session on a 1:33.7. I don't think that was deliberate. That looks to be having lost the car on the inside of turn 3, the approach to turn 3. So very unusual place. Joshua says he and Tormund taught the Ferrari boys everything they know. I will check in with them. Often Shellin Shakes is tuned in. He'll have something to say about that, I would imagine. But I don't know if they will stay teammates into the next game. I would have thought that there will be new. And there is Shellin laughing his head off. Yeah, okay. I would have thought that that the drivers will all be reappraised with a new game when the season starts, 2 weeks after the game is released. Wezo then on his lap. Let's see if he can get a lap together. And Shake says no comment. So getting the car into turn 4 comfortably is Wezo. Just needs to take this one fairly calm. Make sure he logs the time. Easy to lose track of where you are on this particular track, as Brad has opted out of setting any faster times, giving everyone else a chance to catch up, not giving too much away and saving a set of tyres. Just getting the job done on the single run. Down the back straight for Wezo, over the crest. Difficult acceleration zone, as I say, when you've got low grip, so whether it's raining or you've run out of tyres, getting a bit of oversteer through turn 15 and 16 on the medium tyres. A little bit surprised to see that. Crosses the line. It's only good enough for P13. That will still be at risk come the end of this session. Let's go down and have a look at Panda. Oh, Panda has invalidated this lap as well. It's not going to plan, is it? Esitronic has invalidated this lap, but I think we'll run round and go again. As will Panda, of course. Try and set a time here. See what he's up to with his telemetry. He is spending telemetry, so it looks like Esitronic is definitely on a run here. Currently 33.8, absolutely on the bubble. Again, a little bit of early steering, perhaps into turn 2. This is turn 3. All about just positioning the car for turn 4. Wow, that was brave across the apex. Avalak doesn't feel like he needs to run again in 5th, 32.4, so he's retired from the session, just giving everyone plenty of chance here so that the track doesn't fill up too much. Oh, massive oversteer for Esitronic and knocks a corner off the car. That's the end of that session for Esitronic in P15, so that opens the door here for Panda to potentially get past him. He just needs to set a time here, and Esitronic getting caught out on a curb, so easily done. Bottas is on medium tyres on his time, a 33.8. There's no real advantage to running medium tyres in this session unless you're particularly good at shredding tyres in the other sessions or the race. Oh, again, the car getting a little loose under Panda. On the way through turn 14. Down we go then to turn 17, penultimate corner on the racetrack, where you will have a very difficult pit lane entry, but hopefully through 3 sessions of qualifying the drivers will get plenty of practice getting into that pit lane at speed. A 32.4 for Panda, a nice time, certainly within range of a front row, but with just a small improvement. So 6th place, that leaves Lord Cypher, Esitronic and Cowboy at risk with 2 minutes to go in the session. Wezo and Cowboy, Botta and Ron will definitely need to keep running, try and improve. Botta is doing exactly that on the medium tyres still, going for a second run here as Wezo has retired from the session in 15th. Will Cowboy come out for another run? He's currently in the pits. If not, he will let Wezo off nice and easy. Botta through turn 14. High gear to control the car. Botta coming out of the corner then, trying to get a small toe on the back of Panda. I got my corners mixed up. So we're now on the back straight. Must have been turn 7 and 8 I was talking about. Panda's somewhat in the way here. Derating as well. Botta won't thank him for this. There we go. Out of the way he goes finally. But I would have thought Botta would be a little bit peeved to see that. 33.3 is his own reference time. Very much on the elimination bubble here. Crosses the line. 32.9 up to P13. That should be comfortably safe then, given that Cowboy still hasn't come out of the pits. So I think that's all she wrote for Q1. Looks like we will lose Cowboy, Esitronic and Lord Cypher and possibly Wezo, depending on how generous the game is feeling on its algorithm today and whether anybody joined mid-session. There we go, the retirement's coming in now. Botta surviving Q1, 4 laps into his medium tyres, tactically not wishing to scrub more than 1 set of tyres, but only doing it really at the very end of the session. Good to see towards the end of the session there, Punaki going a 32.3 and getting in between the Ferrari, as did Martin. So the Ferraris 1st and 4th. Very nice to see their drivers competing there. Brad usually has the measure of Shakes in quali, but Shakes has taken a number of better scores than Brad overall. Through the course of the season. Hopefully the drivers will retire now, so we won't have to watch one car running around the track. I'm sure sometimes the drivers set their time and then just go and get a snack, or they're looking down at their phone and not really understanding that we could be skipping over to Q2 quite quickly. I will talk you through the Constructors' Championship shortly, because I think we're about to get the finishing order for Q1 come up on the screen. There we go. So it is Brad on top from Punaki and Martin and Shakes. Then comes Donovan, Panda, Avalak, J-Boy, Ricky Lau, Jacques, Solsmeister, Dan, Botta, Ron and Wezo did survive that one. Lord Cypher, Esitronic and Cowboy eliminated. So we'll have 15 drivers will compete for 10 spots in Q2 for qualification into Q3. Brad's reference time 01:32.8 and the nearest driver half a second away. Well, nearest 4 drivers all half a second away from Brad. hopefully they are all just keeping their powder dry for a better run in the in Q3. A nice competitive qualifying. So Q2 begins. Some drivers I'm sure will come out of the pit shortly. Mix of tyres going on the cars. And to take you through then the standings at the moment. For the constructors, Ferrari are on top with 414 points, over 100 points clear of Alfa Romeo on 278. Then Williams 269, Red Bull 257, very competitive for second place there. Mercedes on 209, then AlphaTauri, Alpine, McLaren, Haas and Aston Martin. Haas and Aston Martin under 100 points after 7 rounds of 2 divisions of racing. So it looks like Ferrari quite likely to have this one their own way as we finish up the season. So our lap's beginning. I think that's Sergeant Panda first on track. I do try and give the first drivers out the pits preference when it comes to the first run on boards. So what's the safe time round here? Let me know in the comments for Division 2. Will they need to be getting into the mid 132s, late 132s? What do you say for a prediction for the elimination point? And how much faster will Brad go this time round? Can anybody else get themselves into the 131s apart from Brad? Shakes reckons a mid 32 is a good safe zone. So Panda begins his next run. He's on medium tyres because it's such a long track and there's lots of right angle corners. You do find that the softs run out of grip at the end of the first hot lap, and the mediums are still going. So not quite so much difference between the 2 tyres over the course of an entire lap. And of course the mediums have got that option. You can go run again. Softs are pretty scrubbed by the time they've done 1 lap. Difficult to get a good time in for the second one unless you've been able to take it easy really early on. Panda then hoping to keep up the rhythm that saw him qualify for Q2. Again with the short shifts as we need a good exit here. Got a little bit crossed up in the mid corner through turn 10. This is sort of turn 11, and turn 12 turns left is the braking zone for turn 13. The right hander under the bridge. A little bit of rear wheel steering going on as the car gets unloaded across the crests. Heading down to the penultimate corner. Good turn in on the final one, and across the line. A 32.7 may not quite be enough to keep him safe. One of the Red Bulls about to cross the line. That's Botta on a 33.2 on medium tyres. Ricky Lau, a 33.2 on soft tyres for Botta. Ricky Lau, a 33.0. Again, I say, I don't think those times are going to be particularly safe. Who else have we got finishing up a lap? We've got Dan in the Alpine, who has invalidated, unfortunately. Donovan next behind him, exactly the same situation. Then perhaps Martin will have kept the lap alive in the Williams. Can he get himself near his teammate here? Massive apex in the penultimate corner. Ran out of room slightly on the way out. Fastest time so far, a 32.2, is in the safer end of things. But the fast guys still haven't come out yet. Ron closing out the lap into sector 3 now, avoiding that sausage curb, that orange curb on the inside of the apex. It is the bane of the Sochi track. these orange curbs. Ron goes P2, a 32.5, exactly a mid 32, as Shakes indicated the likely cut-off. Next up, Solsmeister to start a lap here in the Mercedes. A few drivers perhaps running 1 or 2 runs here. You can squeeze 3 in a 15-minute session for Q2. Martin, Ron, Sergeant Panda, Botta, Punaki, Ricky Lau, J-Boy, Jacques. Your current order. J-Boy jumps up to P3 though on a 32.6. Solsmeister looking like the car's underneath him nicely. He's on medium tyres, so his preparation lap was good. Still be within a shout here. Just waiting for the braking zone here. I always feel like the braking marker boards are misplaced going through turn 12. In the approach to 13, it's you do have to brake a lot earlier than the braking marker boards indicate. So as we watch another car heading into the pits, Solsmeister will finish this lap out without traffic in front of him, running super wide, a 33.6 in the end. He'll perhaps need to run again on this one. Is that what he's up to? Well, he's used about half of his ERS, so the slowest log time so far, as Brad is next on the hot lap. ERS all the way down this back stretch. Wow, really just tipping the car into the apex, trusting that it's going to slow. Someone who trusts their setup and knows their way around the circuit very well indeed. What kind of practice hour count have gone into preparation for this race? A 32.0 for Brad. That's 0.2 slower than his Q1 time, but still, I would have thought plenty safe enough. Avalak through sector 1. You heard the beep for the DRS. And the track looking a lot brighter than it does from the pit lane, although I think that's partly because the pit lane is in shadow. Again with the short shifts from Avalak. Yeah, we saw upshifted at the apex of a tricky corner, feeding the throttle very gently through to the line, and the fastest time, that is almost a rival for Brad's Q1 time. And at this point, with 6 minutes to go in the session, that's a nice time for Avalak to put on. Nice confidence booster. Join Wezo, who currently has yet to set a time, as has Shakes, but I'm not anticipating that Shakes will get eliminated. Listening out for the braking point on the Mercedes. Not quite as late as Brad, I think. Touching the orange curb, Wezo with the inside tyre. Thankfully he was off throttle. I think that would have spun the car around as Shakes gets a 31.7. Faster still than Avalak and Brad's time in the previous one. Wezo goes up to P4, a 32.1. should be pretty comfortable there, but Donovan and Jacques, the McLaren boys, at the bottom of the standings at the moment. Donovan inevitably, because he hasn't set a time. Hi to Simps. Nice to see you here, Simps. Are you supporting anyone in particular tonight? I wonder if any of the medium runners here have set laps. Punaki and Panda will go for soft tyres to secure their promotion to the next session. Donovan P6, the 32.2, should be nice and safe, but he's done that on soft tyres. Of course, these are the tyres the drivers will start the next session on, the race session on. So it is an important decision, and I'm somewhat surprised to see Brad and Shakes not go for medium tyres here. They're obviously wanting to run the race to sort of plan A, soft, medium kind of strategy. Flags are flying somewhat limply at the circuit, would indicate not any particular strong coastal winds at the moment for the drivers to compete with. Sim says he's got moved to Alpine, so he's going to have to support them. Well, Dan is still going for his first point in the championship so far, so he could well do with a cheerleader. What did you do to get lumped with Alpine? Did you get relegated or promoted, Sims? Jacques through the end of the lap here. Not quite sure what that second bollard is for on the exit. And Jacques goes up to P11 on medium tyres. Now that's not going to do it what he wants it to do. He still needs to improve, I think. 3 minutes to go before the checkered flag. We've got Dan down there in 14th at the moment, 33.0. He's going to try on these soft tyres now, get himself ahead. Looks like a controller user or someone suffering some lag, to my connection at least. Very jerky with the steering inputs. Yeah, Dan definitely feeding the steering. Unless this is a tactic for tyre saving. It's lag. Yeah, it's definitely lag. Okay, so apologies if it's a bit too hard to watch. I will stop watching Dan on board, but get an update on his. Wow, that was all over the road, wasn't it? That was too much across the apex, too much across the exit. So just a bit of overspeed and early steering from Dan, but we could be being deceived slightly. So heading for the next sector timing beam. Will this be an improvement? It is an improvement by 1/10, but a 1/10 is the gap between P10 and P14. So it's very, very tight at the elimination zone here. Botta on a 32.931 and Dan on a 33.054. Super close. This really is anyone's, as Jacques has gone in the pits on those medium tyres from P11, and Dan gets into P10 just on the cusp. A 32.891 couldn't be much closer to Botta's time. That's the blink of an eye. Sim said he was the only McLaren driver, so he's been teamed with someone else. Sims, how do you like the Alpine to drive? Different steering wheel, different turbo whine, isn't it? Very distinctive. I don't know how you found the transition. We've got Punaki Salzmeister on the cusp of being eliminated here. Ricky Lau will be eliminated because he has retired from P15, a 33.099 on medium tyres, but stuck down in 15th place now for Ricky Lau. Punaki, usually more of a front runner, definitely a Q3 driver. Getting very close to the wall there. Who won't thank Ron for crossing over his path on the approach to the final corner, but he gets out of the way. Punaki crosses the line, P10, deposes Salzmeister and Dan. back into the elimination zone. Botta crosses the line. P11 is all he can do on the soft tyres. And as I mentioned, very, very close now. A 32.699 is on the bubble for Punaki. Q2 is over officially, so it is the laps the drivers are on now and no more. We'll see what Punaki decides to do. Will he come into the pits? Is he pushing? I don't think so. I think he's just getting a little bit of practice in here. Yeah, slowing now to the corners. Anybody else? Was Salzmeister running again through this one? He is going to try and put in this lap. He'll pick up the checkered flag. Is it enough to get him through to Q3? It is enough. He just pips Punaki, who we saw slowing previously. Let's see. He's about to cross the second sector. Is he still on it? No, absolutely not. Punaki got that lap in previously, but hasn't got enough ERS or tyres to run round again and improve. So Punaki definitely eliminated from this session. Botta is trying to find some room here. Punaki ahead on track. Well, interesting notes from Simps, finding the Alpine more balanced than the McLaren. Good intel. Botta improves, but not enough for a grid position. P12 for the Red Bull. So it looks like we're going to lose Punaki, Botta, Dan and Jacques. And I'm pretty sure that's the situation, as well as Ricky Lau, who of course retired a little bit earlier in the session. That's Q2, and now it's time for the fastest drivers to compete for pole, with a lot more open track ahead of them. Shakes the fastest time that time out on a 31.759, with Brad 32.0, a bit slower than he went on the previous session. Maybe he was using scrub tyres. There wouldn't be any advantage to doing that with that. So Q2 finishes and we see Shakes on top. Avalak and Brad, Sergeant Panda, Wezo, Martin, Donovan, J-Boy, Ron and Salzmeister will compete for pole and the front row. 0.8 of a second between the top 10. And then, unfortunately, eliminated will come Punaki, Botta, Dan, Jacques and Ricky Lau. Still 1.3 seconds between the top 15 drivers. And it was, you had to be within 0.8 to qualify. Nice and close from this Division 2 of Full Throttle Racing. A reminder, third place championship contender Stoffel is missing from this race. So the Ferrari boys will have this one to fight out between themselves, so long as Q3 goes to plan. Now let me have your pole position, time and driver predictions now for the next session. Who's going to get it, and why is it Brad? Should I say? But I guess the question I should probably be asking is, how fast will Brad go? We see Division 2 before Division 1 or the Premier Division, don't we, each week? So I can't use the Premier Division as a reference point. I wonder if it would be more fair for the Division 2 drivers if they could watch the strategy of Division 1. Sorry, I keep doing it. The Premier Division, see their strategy before they have to race. But I suppose it will equally make sense to build the excitement to the top tier. Looks like a Mercedes heading out first. Is that Salts? No, we've got a Williams on its way as well. Everybody rushing out because there's only 12 minutes in this session. If you make a mistake, you can get round and go for another run. It is the Ferrari of Wezo who got out of the pits. No, scratch that. Martin was very quick out of the blocks, wasn't he? Clive says Brad with a 1:31.2. That's a big, big improvement from what he's done previously. But it will certainly be interesting to watch them. More than half the drivers out in the first minute of qualifying on track. Mango says, what's good? Well, I'm watching racing cars, so I'm having fun. How are things in South Africa today? Looks like load shedding less of a problem for everybody this week, which is a massive relief. And things looking pretty stable as well. Punaki says Alpha Tauri's got engine problems. Simp says it'll be a 31.5. I think he's saying for Brad or Shakes. As Sheldon says Ricky and Punaki qualified with their handbrakes on. Well, I'm not so sure. Simp says fuel is the main issue. Is that for the drivers or for existing in South Africa right now? Because it's not cheap in the UK, I have to say either. Martin then, first one to go for a flying lap. As one of the Mercedes still staying in the pit. Saltzmeister playing it very cool indeed. Jacques says it's freezing in South Africa at the moment. It's pretty cold here today as well. What's a freezing day in South Africa? Oh, Martin straight away, early out of the blocks, but unfortunately straight into invalidation. Let's join Shakes instead. He's got a clear track ahead of him. Simp says fuel prices record high. Yeah, it's the same here, unfortunately. Well, freezing for us is below 10 at this time of year. It's probably around that at the moment, below 10 centigrade. But my friends in Australia will be wearing scarves when it's 18 degrees centigrade. So good to have a reference point. Shakes going through Sector 1, surviving Sector 1 comfortably. Again, don't perhaps believe all the steering inputs. Mango says 8 degrees is the lowest it goes. Yeah, you've got no real idea what freezing is then, have you guys? Over in South Africa. Mind you, the region of the racing round in this region for the Sochi track, I'm sure it gets much colder. Away to the line then, Shakes a 31.7. That's a good time as J-Boy gets a 32.007. Who's next? Let's see what Brad can do. Across the line now, and it's a 31.7 as well, so very close at the front here. Avalak was close on the previous session, but he's invalidated on this lap. Panda up to P3 with a 31.976. Mango says 31.3 is his prediction. Mango says that he reckons Brad will get pole and then crash in turn 1. What, in the race or straight after his pole position time is set? Saltzmeister just starting his lap. So let's join Ron, who's further along down the track. Avalak, we know, has invalidated. That's a good point, Jack. I have to say though, UK insulation is not exactly great. And we do build our houses to keep warm, and when it does get warm, it is unbearable when it's warm here, because we have these big picture windows and south-facing windows to try and get any heat we can in, savour any sunlight when we get it. Ron into then turn 13 and 14. Shakes 31.5, lowers the bar on his second lap on the soft tyres. That's impressive stuff. I wonder if Brad is going to do the same. Ron coming across the line now. Brad's on his way into the pits. So Ron crosses the line on P7. Oh, a 32.6. Where's Avalak right now? He is halfway around the lap. He has no reference lap to compare to. Saltzmeister just finishing out his Sector 2. Ooh, so Punaki says Ron is on a Thrustmaster T248 tonight. across the line then for Solskjaer, 32.5. But is it a case for Ron that he's got all the gear and no idea, I wonder? It's an often refrain of golfers. So Avalak, second run on the soft tyres, just trying to get a benchmark time in here, and it's a P4, 31.8. We know he got a 31.7 previously in the session prior. And we've got Martin on an outlap, somewhat different on the strategy for tackling Q3 here. Jacques says Don is on fire. Oh, nice time, 31.9, P5. That's a good place to start the race if you can keep it there. Shakes though on top, 31.548. Fastest time we've seen so far tonight. The track though still improving into the final runs, and we'll wait to see when the drivers come on out of the pits for those final runs and in what order. But all eyes right now on Martin, who is about to start his first real attempt. Mango says Shakes is going to do a 31.3. Okay, and you still reckon Brad's going to do a 31.2. So into turn 2, that's very wide. That's a bit of a mistake from Martin, straight out the blocks. Unfortunately for Martin, it seems every time we're watching him something goes wrong, and he's bailed that lap, hasn't he? He's not going to go any quicker. I don't think anybody else is actually attacking a lap right now. Saltzmeister, after setting his 32.2, is he? No, he's got no ERS at all, so he's on his way in. Wezzo on his way out, and making up some shortcuts to get himself round. Hi to Ben, who's watching tonight. Ben from a different league. He's here to see some more racing. This is a full qualifying league here, Ben. So Sim says Shakes always surprises us. Well, if he always surprises you, is he really surprising you? I don't know. Am I just getting stuck in semantics? Ben, I haven't heard your take on the incident last night. I'd love to hear it. Drop me a DM if you don't want to leave it publicly. But yeah, controversy you were involved in yesterday. I'd love to hear a bit more about that, Ben. So Wezzo attacking the lap next. We've got Shakes, Brad, and Donovan out on outlaps. Shakes heading through turn 3. Yeah, that's right. I shouldn't try and be smart, should I? Wezzo going through then. He'll get an update about now on his sector, and he is there or thereabouts with his previous time. Right there with his teammate as well. 32.2 his target reference. Hoping to improve into the 31s if he can. And he said, please broadcast Brad's hot lap. That's a good call. That's a good call. Let's get right on it now, because this is where we expect pole to be. Especially after Wezzo had a very comparable first sector. Brad then, one more major corner before we get an update. Floating the car across the apex. Nice run. He's 500ths up on the first sector. It's not night and day versus Shakes here, is it? Looks to be a track maybe that Brad hasn't put in quite as much practice. Not quite so dominant. But 2 sectors to come. Maybe he's trimmed for top speed, which won't show up so much in sector 1. Saltzmeister with a retirement on a 32.2. Doesn't feel like he can go any faster, and Brad is only 4400ths faster on this second sector. It could be all about Shakes, let alone Brad. Let's see Shakes' first run. He is quicker, so he's 1300ths quicker than himself, than the provisional pole time. What kind of final sector can Brad do? Short shifts out of the final corner, gets himself onto the provisional front row, but I think Shakes is on it here. He's certainly still got that provisional pole. Avalak and Panda, they won't go anymore. So this could be the final competitive run here for Shakes. Quarter of a second faster through Sector 2 and a purple, and he's weaving the car into the apex, into turn 13 and 14. Remember, I think Shakes' view from major understeer through the turn 16 corner, really collecting the car. So did that scrub off any of the quarter of a second improvement? Goes to the line, it's 3/10, it's a 1:31.2. How about that? How about that from Mango? Was it Mango that said 31.2? Let me scroll back. He says 31.3, and it was Clive who said a 31.2. He said Brad, but it's Shakes with a 31.2. Beautiful lap from him. What about J-Boy though? He's about to finish off his lap. He's going quicker, trying to get himself into the 1:31s. He's got Martin ahead. Might have given him a small tow. Jumps up to P3 for J-Boy, and it's a Ferrari engine, 1-2-3. The Alfa Romeo of J-Boy, a 31.6. Great stuff from him, and I think Ron is the only guy still on track pushing at this stage. But what a lap from Shakes there, beats Brad. And in terms of the championship, Shakes is ahead of Brad by one single point. No, scratch that. He's ahead of Brad by 8 points at the moment. So, as I say, Brad usually has his way in quali, but this time roles are reversed. What will the race bring us? Ron has invalidated this lap. Martin never got a lap set. But there we have it. Shakes on top, 31.2. 3/10 faster than Brad. Popular result there. So it's Shakes, Brad, J-Boy, Avalak, Panda, Donovan, Wezzo, Saltzmeister, Ron and Martin, your top 10. I'll take a short break before the race begins and we head towards the formation lap. Be back in a moment. Okay, back with Webbo, back with Full Throttle Racing's Division 2, and we are gearing up for a race on our hands now. Boonty says those Ferrari boys need to tear up. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Sun's out. It's time for some dry weather racing around the Sochi Autodrome. Of course, the track constructed and designed around the Olympic Park from the Winter Olympics. So lots of nice scenery. Not so much in terms of nice driving experience, but it's a unique challenge. That is absolutely sure. So soft tyres it is for the top 10 and the 18th position Cowboy, and then we have Punaki, well, everybody else pretty much 11th to 17th, all on medium tyres. So there's definitely two main strategies. Ben says, who are the ones to watch in this league? Well, you can't go wrong with the Ferrari boys. Avalak is the league owner and is usually there in the mix as well. Somewhat surprised to see Punaki down in 11th, and yes, I'm pronouncing that correctly, or at least that's how I've been told to pronounce his name. Ricky Lau as well has some speed at some tracks, and he's been suffering some DNFs at other leagues as well. Clive says League of Division. League of Division. Did I say that? Yes, basically it is Division 2 of Full Throttle Racing. Shakes with the fastest time, as we saw, unusually pipping his teammate to the pole, but he's also on top in the championship, 8 points clear of his teammate. They usually get away from the rest of the grid and then have a nice battle towards the end of the race. But as I say, this track, one that is underutilised, and often the drivers just don't have the practice around here. Lots of off camber, difficult corners that just frustrate the drivers, and a couple of times, especially around this part of the racetrack, this final sector, as the tyre wear really starts to bite, it is a big problem for the drivers hanging on. You see so many spins, particularly on this corner that Shakes is approaching now. Turn 15 and 16. There's a crest right in the middle of both of the corners, can really unsettle the car. So look out for them. So we'll be underway for you very shortly. 27 laps around Sochi to enjoy. Let's have your podium predictions then, please. Remember, if you do it after lights out, you get less kudos, frankly. So remember, everyone on medium tyres out of the top 10, apart from Cowboy right at the back. So a little bit of an unusual strategy from him. Heat haze rising as the engines start to boil on the grid with the sun out. Green flags all around. We're about to get racing. I'm trying to find you a nice camera angle for the start of this one. Here we go. Lights are on. Revs are building. Hold them, revs. Drop the clutch and go, go, go. Ferraris both away from the grid very, very smartly. The Alfa Romeo struggling as now Donovan splits down the middle of the track between Avalak and J-Boy. Gets the P3 before we head down towards the first major braking zone of the track. The Ferraris line astern. Donovan going for a move on the Ferrari of Shakes. Shakes losing out to Brad immediately and has got the inside line here against Donovan. We've lost Panda. Lost Panda into the first corner. What a frustrating evening that's going to turn out to be for Panda. Big problems, and a way down. We've got a safety car immediately to recover Panda's car, and can you imagine spending an hour qualifying, far more than that presumably, getting ready for today's race in practice, and then it all going wrong on the exit of the effective turn 1, what is officially turn 2. Burn It Down says he enjoys this track, but he's got an exam tomorrow, so I'm sorry about that. But don't watch a race to try and get get your exam correct, unless anyone can start talking to Burn It Down in Afrikaans. I certainly can't. Donovan up 3 places off the grid. Up 4 was Punaki, up 7 Esitronic, and 4 for Ricky Lau. So beautiful starts from the Alpha Tauris and from the Aston Martin of Esitronic. Bunji says, tough one. He's Afrikaans and it's hard. Yeah, I imagine so. But a safety car has been called on lap 1. Nobody really heading into the pits at this stage. Oh, what's this? Is this a Mercedes coming into the pits? It is. It's Wezo in the pits, straight early doors off the soft tyres. A reminder there on the tyre front. Nobody else making that fairly early call. Will that be hard tyres, I wonder, for Wezo? Well, several drivers actually into the pits. There's Ricky Lau. Presumably this is front wing changing, is it? Riding on board with Ricky Lau now. But why would you take off? Yeah, it's a change of front wing. Soft tyres going on though. Wanting to be strong on the way on the green flag restart. Ben said Brad Shakes and Punaki is his prediction here tonight. That's a pretty confident one for Punaki, but he's already up in the order, up to P6. Another reminder of where they find themselves. Some of them have gained from pit stops, especially Esitronic and Punaki, but Brad and Shakes swapping round into turn 1. Donovan partly responsible for that. He's down in P3 at the moment. J-Boy deposed by 1 place. Avalak similarly. And Wezo, the big loser so far, but he has pitted. Bunchi said you can do hards right through. I can imagine so. So hard tyres have gone on to Martin and Jacques, but a couple of drivers have pitted and put on soft tyres, which is, well, it's somewhat confusing to me, but they want to make track position at this early stage. 64 comments already, guys, and we're only on lap 2. That's some great engagement. We're really pleased about that. Thank you so much. Shakes Brad J-Boy says Simps, so he's gone for the opposite. Shakes Brad J-Boy. That was pretty much how they qualified, wasn't it? So not a particularly out there kind of prediction, but glad to see it. We're also looking for Dan's first points on the championship for Alpine here. He's currently 16th though, but I don't think Panda will be the first of our casualties tonight. There's time enough to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you are feeling like you want to see more races from me, you can follow my output at WebORed5, because I'm usually broadcasting on everybody else's channels rather than my own. So find me at WebORed5 on Twitter, and you'll see every time I go live. So safety car will go through again, and we will start lap 3 under the safety car conditions. Green lights are on the safety car, but there's nobody to overtake here. Simp says hards are tough work to use properly if you don't have the pace. So a slow and somewhat lukewarm start to the race, 2 laps under the safety car, but it will give us a change-up of strategy. Of course, the bulk of the field, the top 11, deciding to stick with the tyres they're on. The walls are quite close, so the chance of another safety car fairly strong, but there are some good runoff areas as well. So 50-50, I'd say, for another safety car. How many safety cars do you guys think we're going to see tonight? Just the one? Punaki's retired from the session. Punaki out of the race, and that's just a dead stop in the middle of the track for Punaki. So I'm sorry to say to Ben particularly, who picked Punaki for this one, that he's out of the race. Hopefully Punaki will stop by and tell us what happened to his race. Safety car will come in as Avalok gets a 5-second penalty for a collision with J-Boy. Avalok was behind J-Boy, is still behind J-Boy. Strange to see the field condensing at that point of the track before we had the restart announced. What is happening here as Avalak slows mightily? Lord Cypher jumps straight past him, and we'll give the place back again, I imagine. Strange one. Pinaki, no, he says. Tell us what happened, Pinaki, please. Safety car will come in this lap. Pinaki says he got hit from behind. Wow. That's not cool. Who's they, Pinaki? Who hit you? There was a lot of funny games being played down that back stretch. Into the pits comes perhaps some of the drivers involved in that incident. But we will go green racing once again as Brad jumps away from the start, shakes right with him, and Donovan tries to follow behind. J-Boy somewhat further behind with Lord Cypher all the way up to P5 now, thanks to those pit stops of Ron and Avalak. And further back we have cars moving all over the circuit. We've got the Mercedes of Wezo and Salzmeister fighting Ricky Lau out of the corner. The Red Bull of Botta is in 7th place now on those older medium tyres. They've barely done any laps though. And we've got Ricky Lau, all the pitted drivers further back, but a long way to go yet. Another 23 laps of Sochi to come. Shakes and Brad up at the front, pretty close to one another. They need to gap the rest of the field so they can have the fighting to themselves this race, as usually happens. But Donovan definitely wanting to get in the mix of all of that. He's got some good race pace at this stage. Lord Cypher, the highest placed medium driver, will be in a good place as well if he can hold that gap. But he's already dropped 2 seconds to J-Boy through that restart. Cars snaking through the constant switchback sections of this racetrack. And if anyone's going to make a mistake when the tyres wear, it'll be through turns 15 and 16. If it's going to be an unforced error. Brad then a 35.2, new fastest lap, but I would imagine that'll get beaten later on. Did anybody see after last year's wet race on track that someone had pinned a map location to Lando Norris's hopes and dreams died here, a memorial on the exit of the corner. He crashed out. Exceptionally cruel, but honestly quite funny. Shakes 4/10 behind Brad, and they are gapping Donovan now. They are trying to get away from Donovan. They're certainly out of DRS range before the DRS has been enabled. That should be next lap, I think. Panda here saying he got spun around into turn 1. I'm afraid we didn't see what happened to Panda, but we've heard from him now. He says as a Ferrari fan he can't complain. Yeah. Shakes then starting to make a nuisance of himself behind Brad. Feels like he's the faster driver at this stage, but is it time to start fighting for these two? A little bit of power oversteer for Shakes, getting impatient behind Brad now. This is unusual for these two, making more of a race out of it here. Perhaps need a word from the engineer just to remind them that they drive for Ferrari. DRS enabled then, but not for this straight or detection point. The next back stretch will be the... Oh, no, hello. There it is. Because the DRS detection is after the start-finish line in Sochi, that's the unusual thing, as now Shakes takes the lead on lap 6 from Brad and struggles to get the car round beyond the little orange curb there that suffered so many complaints from the drivers last year. Last race, I should say. Lord Cypher next to Botta on track, and they collide. Botta spearing across the track backwards and losing out on that exchange. Lord Cypher holding on. Did he suffer any damage from that contact? Looked to be wheel to side pod, so could be yellow damage on the side pod. We'll see if he pits, if it's serious. But lap 6, Shakes, Brad, Donovan, J-Boy, Essitronic, the top 5. A gap between J-Boy and Essitronic of some 5 seconds after a restart, and that's the difference in the tyres. Essitronic now the lead medium driver, waiting for the better grip to come. Wezzo passing Lord Cypher, so I think that's an indication, if we needed one, that Lord Cypher is round. Lord Cypher has spun round, and that is through turn 13. Difficult braking zone, but is that due to damage or is that something else on the Haas? Dan then up to P8, and as I say, looking for his first points here in the championship. So any neutrals watching will be cheering on Dan here, I think. Let's go back to the top of the order though. Braking zone for turn 2. Shake still ahead. J-Boy, is he close enough? Not quite, as Wezzo gets by Aircitronic, and Wezzo takes over as the lead medium runner. Lord Cypher into the pits, Botta as well after that contact, and they will almost certainly rejoin back in the race next to each other again, so look to that one to continue through the race. Punaki says he doesn't know who hit him, but under safety car, I mean, surely you've got to feel like that's unforgivable to be crashed out of the race under the safety car conditions. Ricky Lau 3/10 behind Salzmeister in the battle for 8th place, bouncing over the curb, and picks up a penalty as well. So double injury for Ricky Lau. Might even get some floor damage after that contact with that particular curb. Down the back stretch they run then. Battle for the lead is half a second separated, then a small gap to Donovan of just under 2 seconds. J-Boy right with Donovan, and could be about to make his move. He starts the start-finish straightish, some 7-8 tenths back. Be looking for that DRS, but some distance behind. Unable to make inroads, but at least stay close. Wezzo has gapped Aircitronic. Likewise, back to Dan in 7th now, and Salzmeister in 8th. All those gaps just slightly too far apart. Aircitronic picks up a penalty as well. They're starting to collect. Black flag, says Buntiers. Who are you giving a black flag to? Are you responding to Punaki's claims there? Is that the deal? So a nice battle developing. Aircitronic 6th, Dan, Salzmeister, Ricky Lau, all in a line with each other. Nice four-way battle here for P6. Different tyres as well. So the race stabilising now towards the end of the first stint for the soft runners. Salzmeister has got Ricky Lau right behind him. Might have a go. What about Dan? Will he be able to battle as Aircitronic defends to the inside? Salzmeister likewise, and no way through on this lap. Now it's trying to rein in the throttle. Short shift for Ricky Lau, although bravely taking that one on in 3rd. See a lot of drivers using 4th to pull away from that corner. Dan is right behind Aircitronic and should get him here. Couldn't be much closer to the back, and with a traction advantage on the soft tyres, Dan peels across to the inside of the track and gets the place done, although he's derating down the main straight here. But Dan, if he can get the car tucked in before that orange curb, he can complete the move into P6 for Dan. And still trying to get those first points, so in a good position so far. At the front, Shakes leads by 8 tenths from Brad, and Donovan a further 3 seconds back. Then comes J-Boy, half a second behind Donovan. They're all on plan A lead strategy, as is Salzmeister. Everybody else has pitted apart from Aircitronic on those medium tyres. Wezzo pitted for mediums under the safety car, and he's ahead of Aircitronic and Salzmeister. J-Boy right on the tail here of Donovan after using the DRS down into turn 12 and 13. Donovan starting to lose the car, I think, on traction. I think mid to late corner, really struggling. Does that open the door here to J-Boy? Down the outside he goes. Let's look to the inside. Does he leave a gap? Oh, contact between the two drivers. Smashes through one of the bollards. Couldn't really do anything about that. And that was definite contact between Donovan and J-Boy. Donovan holding the inside line. That seemed pretty hard. We were on board with J-Boy, and that was a pretty heavy whack on the right-hand side pod. It wasn't wheel to wheel, so they weren't level. Brad has caught back to Shakes now, half a second. J-Boy will get another try after this corner. He'll get after the next corner, I should say. He will get DRS, as will Brad here. Brad with the DRS on his teammate Shakes. Shakes goes to the inside, Brad to the outside, but there's no way of defending that one. What about these two? Well, they fight again, and on the way into the corner, J-Boy not quite there, so Brad retakes the lead on lap 10. That's another change for the lead we've had. I think that makes it 2 changes at this stage, as now the tyres absolutely reaching the end of their lifespan. Shakes comes into the pits. That leaves Brad on the outside. Is that a pass to overtake? Donovan and J-Boy likewise. Donovan staying out, J-Boy in. Let's see what happens with the undercut potential here, because both... No, it was Brad that pitted, excuse me. Brad pits and J-Boy pits. So J-Boy trying to get the undercut here, if possible. Dan promoted to P4, still on the soft tyres, but having stopped once already. So that strategy working at the moment, but he will take some pain later. A 5-second penalty picked up by Ricky Lau. I think that was on the way into the pits, and that's going to hurt because it won't come off at this point, and he's already now up to 14 seconds of penalties. Really collecting them is Ricky Lau tonight. A bit of a challenge going on here. Esitronic versus Martin versus Jacques. Esitronic too close at the wrong part of the racetrack, going through turn 3. No way through. It looks like Brad has exited behind this group, but with a little bit of clear air to put in a good outlap. That's the plan anyway. Try and defend the or commit to the overcut. But medium tyres versus Shakes old softs shouldn't be much of a competition. What has Shakes left in those tyres? Crucially though, in the battle for the final place on the podium. What about Donovan versus J-Boy? No way through here as Jacques runs super wide. Jacques on the hard tyres versus Martin on the hard tyres. And they look like completely different compounds the way the cars are handling. Martin much calmer. Shakes pits then, trying to defend from his teammate and from J-Boy and Donovan. Donovan stays out and does not pit, so stretching this first stint. And look how much Brad has caught this group. DRS for Brad as he now passes Esitronic over across the pit lane exit. That means Shakes is some way behind. Let's see what happens with J-Boy and Donovan though, once Donovan finally pits. Jacques trying around the outside into turn 3. That becomes the inside to turn 4, but there's just not enough braking zone. That opens up the track for Brad, who should be right there when it comes to the next DRS zone. Donovan in the lead of this race, not pitting yet. Only him and Esitronic yet to pit, but it'll be some time for Esitronic at this point. Brad being badly held up here by cars on a different strategy, hard tyre running cars as well. That's got to hurt Brad here. DRS though, so relatively calm lap for Brad. DRS pass on Jacques. Down they go into turn 13 and 14, and Brad just leaving enough on the apex, trying to pass around the outside. Definitely put his race in the hands of someone understeering into him. Shakes yet to pass Esitronic behind. Brad making a nuisance of himself in the mirrors and passing before the next DRS zone on Martin. He'll hope to get away fast. Is that Donovan in the pits? No, Donovan stays out and is stuck behind Wezzo. Wezzo has overtaken Donovan because of the difference in these tyres. J-Boy, new fastest lap, 35.0 for J-Boy, while Donovan is being passed. So you've got to feel like J-Boy will almost certainly get the undercut on Donovan here. Donovan really stretching this stint. Anybody else go for hards in that one? Donovan picks up a penalty as well, and that really feels like one lap too many for the McLaren driver at the front there. So not only has he lost a place, he's losing ground to his rival J-Boy, and he's picked up a penalty. Shakes struggling a bit more than Brad did to get past Jacques here, but just catching him in a bad part of the racetrack. Now we'll try and go around the outside, sweeps across the nose. That's not great for DRS down here, but at least he's dispatched that driver. And he's just got Martin between himself and Brad again. How deep does Dan go into this one? I wonder, has Donovan decided finally to pit after that slow lap? He definitely has. So we've seen new medium tyres go on to Brad, Shakes, J-Boy. Should be good to the end of this race. We're at halfway point in the race as Wezzo, who has pitted, but I think we'll have to pit again on is in P1. Brad gets past Donovan in the pits. Martin is in P3, then Shakes, Jacques, J-Boy with the DRS should get Jacques here. Had to make a bit of a meal of it, J-Boy, but has clearly stretched his gap to Donovan, who has only just come out of his own pit box. That's the difference. It's huge how much time Donovan has lost here to J-Boy. Jacques on the hard tyres, pitted to the end. Needs to take the pain now on the pace with the drivers on their fresh tyres. Try and stay with them if he can to be in with a shout later on. Is Ricky Lau about to make a move on Cowboy down for P11? Although with Ricky's penalties, I'm not sure he'll be able to feature in the point scoring tonight. It's not the best place to try and pass for Ricky, so he's patiently waiting for the next DRS zone. But further back, that was Botta going very wide around the exit of the last two corners we've seen in the background. So struggling here at the moment. I'm not quite sure why from Botta. 6 laps into his soft stint. I think that means for Botta it was a soft medium or a medium soft medium. Waiting then for the medium tyres to run out of grip on Wezzo and Ezitronics cars. Shakes gets a new fastest lap of 33.7. He's now 2 seconds away from his teammate. Donovan passes Ezitronic, who pits on the off the medium tyres. So what's he looking for? Soft tyres here, or is it going to be hards? It's a new front wing, so it is not part of the main plan A at all. Probably into plan G or H by this point. There's a new set of hard tyres going on, and that's neither here nor there with regard to the strategy. It's getting busy down here in the battle for 10th place. Ricky, Salzmeister and Cowboy. Ricky running wide through turn 2, but hanging on just about. Salzmeister not satisfied to let this one go just yet. With Wezzo still to pit, we've got Wezzo ahead of Brad and Shakes, then J-Boy. Martin closing, or at least staying with J-Boy here, is past Jacques as well in 6th place. Then Donovan, who was fighting with J-Boy earlier and has now picked up a penalty. In 7th, Ron, Dan, Ricky Lau, Salzmeister, Cowboy, you see on screen, followed by Lord Cypher, who spun in the hearths earlier, Ezitronic, who's only just pitted, and then the Red Bulls in 15th and 16th position right now, and some distance away from everyone by the look of the track map. Rough night for Red Bull. I'm not quite sure what has happened to Avalac and I mean, I saw Botta having a few dramas on the previous laps, maybe trying to handle some damage. We did see him colliding with another car earlier on. So Donovan, closing in on his teammate, will be hoping for good service from the team manager over the radio. Makes the call and gets the pass. Donovan not receiving much by way of battle from his teammate. Pit stop for Ron. We've heard Ron is on his new Thrustmaster. Esotronic, a 3-second time penalty. That's another penalty, I think, for him. Let's check out the penalty count. 9 seconds for him, 17 for Ricky Lau, 3 for Donovan. So that's not going to help their track position later on. Wezo still 9 seconds ahead of Brad, but still has to pit. He has pitted, but I'm sure will still have to pit. Brad and Shakes now 1.5 seconds apart. Then J-Boy, so I'm near 5 seconds back from them. Martin losing out to J-Boy because of being on the hard tyres. And then we've got Donovan and Jacques, the McLaren pairing. So who had Brad, Shakes and J-Boy in their prediction, which was it was Simps who said Shakes, Brad, J-Boy. So still to see whether that transpires. This is the closest battle on track. Solsmeister on Ricky Lau for 9th place. Same strategy for these two. And you've got to think Solsmeister is close enough to make use of the DRS next time round. Not looking super fast towards the end of the lap. Part of that reason is the lack of ERS. Dan picks up a penalty now and has made it 4 drivers with a penalty as Solsmeister gets Ricky Lau quite easily into the corner. Will Ricky be able to hang on to the tail of the Mercedes? Lap 17 done, 10 to go as Avalak retires from the session. Avalak retires from the session. Is that into the pits? I think it might be. I hope it is, because otherwise, yeah, into the pits he comes. So I'm assuming that Avalak would only retire because of undrivable damage, and that's to explain why he's so far down. Hopefully he'll stop by the chat and let us know what happened. I'll keep my eye on the driver chat and the DMs as well. Ricky still has the DRS here on the back of Solsmeister, but he is becoming a disappearing dot on the horizon. Ricky missing the apex by some distance into turn 12. That was possibly down to a lack of aero on the front wing. Yellow flag, sector 1, that's Botta. Struggling at this stage. I wonder why. What's happening to Botta? He's seemingly back running. Was that just coming out of the pits for Botta? No. Strange one. Really strange one. We've got Donovan and Martin battling. Look at this. Donovan down the inside into turn 3. That means Martin's got the inside into turn 4. Oh, contact. Martin, and a reset to track from Martin. My apologies, Martin. You didn't get away with that one. That was a definite reset to track, unfortunately. Caught very obviously on stream. But Donovan battling hard to maintain his position. And Martin was a bit too far behind for the game to decide that it was his corner. And he spun, unfortunately. Ricky Lau, though, still behind Solsmeister, and he'll try and get his place back, I think, coming in towards the next DRS zone in sector 2. He's drifting back slightly through the corners, but under brakes looks pretty strong. Difference in braking performance here on the medium tyre, but some 3/4 of a second behind before he gets to use the DRS. Might be too far back to make a difference, and it is, despite Solsmeister kicking up the dust offline on the way into turn 13, sorry. These still the closest battles, but look at the gap dropping between Brad and Wezzo. That was 9 seconds just about 3 laps ago. It's down to 5. Wezzo hanging on to try and run the soft tyres to the end. You've got to feel like that is more than achievable now, and he's losing time to the leaders, so surely it's time to pit now for Wezzo. Where will a pit stop leave him? Presumably around P6 for Wezzo on soft tyres, but I feel like he's leaving it a little bit too late to make best use of those tyres at this stage. I don't know, do you agree in the live chat? Is it was it last lap was the better time to pit for those softs for Wezzo at the lead? Because that gap is coming down at an alarming rate to Brad, who's been out of the top for some time now. Brad and Shakes. Shakes still 1.4 seconds behind his teammate. Ron and Cowboy about to do battle here. Is that a sniff of DRS zone? No, Ron's getting the job done before the DRS. Very different tyre situation, and some 12 seconds behind the Salzmeister Ricky Lau battle. Ron up to P11 on lap 20. Back to these two who have been entertaining us for some time. Dan is also closing on Jacques. I'll keep an eye on that one. Has Wezzo has declined the pit lane once again, now that there's 7 laps to go. Oh, I think maybe he's going to try and stay out on those mediums, but they are so slow relative to Brad and Shakes. J-Boy too. Does he feel he can hang on at this late stage? Avalak is calling out Salzmeister for something. Oh, a big jink to the right for Ricky Lau, as both drivers somewhat mistimed their moves. Dan, P7, has managed to get Jacques here down the start-finish straight. Let's just look at that gap to leader once again, because Wezzo, his gap is 9.6 seconds to J-Boy, 15 seconds to Donovan. Maybe Wezzo targeting P4 here, or possibly P5, but he's not going to hang on against the likes of Brad and Shakes. Shakes may be feeling like Brad closing on Wezzo will be a good opportunity for him. Salzmeister still in the mix with Ricky Lau. Well, Cypher picks up a penalty. That's the majority of the field now with penalties on the board. And Brad gets Wezzo at the front of the field. Brad overtakes Wezzo. Shakes some distance back. So Brad caught Wezzo very quickly there. Takes the lead once again. Lap 21. Brad back on top. Here comes Shakes then on Wezzo as Salzmeister and Ricky Lau swap over once again. Story of the race for those two. Shakes with the DRS, I'm sure, here, but Wezzo hanging on. Feel like he's fighting the inevitable here, Wezzo, and is that to his own disadvantage overall with his gap to J-Boy, his gap to Donovan? Would he be better letting the two Ferraris go and trying to follow in their wake? Far be it for me to tell a driver how to drive, but from an outsider's perspective, looks like this strategy not really working at the moment for Wezzo, especially if he's going to fight this hard with the Ferraris. It's one thing trying to stay with them, but quite another slowing yourself down. He's finishing the start-finish straight as Wezzo comes into view in the rear-view mirror. So lap 22 sees Brad and Shakes back on top with a 2.5 second gap. Then Wezzo, J-Boy, Donovan, Martin, Dan, and I really hope Dan will keep it together to the end of the race here. Jacques, Salzmeister, Ricky Lau in the top 10. Penalties on the board. Let's have a quick look at those. 3 seconds each for most of the drivers, apart from Ricky Lau and Esitronic on 17 and 9 seconds respectively. I wonder if Shakes has got anything left to take the battle for the win here tonight. In terms of ERS, the answer is no, although they're both fairly equal, 11 and 13% at this moment of looking. But will he be able to catch his teammate and give us a battle at the end of this race? We've got Ricky Lau and Salzmeister have been giving us our money's worth, although maybe Avalak might disagree. Avalak calling out Salzmeister in the driver chat, feeling aggrieved about something. I'm not sure we caught it on stream, unfortunately. Fastest lap currently lies with Shakes. Remember, Shakes went into this race with an 8-point advantage over Brad in the championship, and Ferrari very much on top. So Bunty says strong drive from Wezo. Do you agree with Wezo's strategy here, though, Bunty? Would you have rather that he pitted and come out in P5 with on soft tyres, or is he doing the right thing? Dan might be putting in a bid here for another place on Martin. Let's go down to Ricky Lau and Salzmeister down the start-finish straight, though. It'll just be a matter of who is ahead coming into the final lap, I think, for these two. Oh, good drive out of the corner from Salzmeister as Ricky Lau overshoots turn 2. Salzmeister hanging on the inside line and down into turn 4, and another traded place. Dan then for Alpine, right behind the Williams of Martin on the hard tyres. But Dan's tyres very much fine to the end of this race. Remember, Wezo is going to try and run here a 24-lap stint on the mediums, and Dan gets up to P6. I think both of these drivers on the same penalty. Yeah, so if things stay the same, but Dan did overshoot slightly, opening the gap, opening the door here to the Williams driver to come back at him, and certainly that's going to help them resume battle in a few moments down the next DRS zone. Ricky Lau stuck behind here. Oh, what's going on here? It looks like Dan had an issue, or did he give up the DRS deliberately on the detection? I don't think so. There's the DRS release button. Release line, I should say. And Dan back on it. He's right with him on the braking zone. Dan having to take a long way round turn 1 and 2. And is Ricky Lau finally too far away to Salzmeister to have another go into turn 2? Yes, just about. Brad leads 1.6 seconds from Shakes with 3 laps to go. J-Boy catching Wezo, now 3.2 seconds away. Can he make the difference? Can he get there on the last lap? That's definitely one to watch, as is this battle for 6th place. Dan chasing Martin. Oh, okay. Don't get too excited, Webber. That was a bit of lag. I think Dan looked like he hit the wall for a moment, and he's teleporting all over the track. So you're going to have to be very careful passing here. Doesn't get enough of an overlap. Looks like Ricky Lau is just slightly too far back past Salzmeister. The gap between Wezo and J-Boy back down now to 2.6 seconds. Dan has got past Martin somehow, some way, for a moment while we weren't looking, unless it was Martin just letting Dan go to get the DRS himself. There's the beep. Dan is derating down this straight. Surely he's going to defend to the inside, Dan, because Martin will go down the inside for a gap. braking very late, very wide, and Dan playing it cool with the cutback, trying to get a good angle on this. Sorry guys, there we go. But Martin definitely behind now, as you were with Salzmeister and Ricky Lau with 2 racing laps to run. Bunty's cheering on J-Boy, teammate across constructors. That's good. Will J-Boy get there? Tormund says shakes. Hold position. Hold position. We'll talk later. Martin trying to stay with Dan, who's got the superior traction on the medium tyres. Martin stopping in that first safety car period on these hards, trying gamely to hang on to that position, but it's going to be a struggle. Dan needs a good exit here, and I think 8/10 should be enough. If he can just hang on to a good exit, I think Dan will be far enough ahead to dissuade another dive bomb from Martin. Yeah, just that little bit too far back. Although Dan running out of brakes slightly at the end of the straight. 2 laps to go. 1.5 really for the leader, Brad, who's 1.8 seconds ahead of Shakes. Shakes doesn't need to win this one. It's still, I say still, let's check again on the fastest lap. He does still have the fastest lap by a good chunk from anybody else. Nobody on a late run here on soft tyres to try and take it off him. Ricky Lau picks up another penalty, and how many is that now for Ricky? 20 clear seconds, way ahead of anybody else, over double the penalties of anyone else on track. So it's definitely not going to plan for Ricky tonight. Good drive so far from Dan, and I say looking for his first points, and I hope he can get them tonight. We're on the final lap for the leaders as they barrel into turn 2. Focus is on some drivers that are a little bit closer. Oh, J-Boy is right with Wezzo. That came down so quickly, and this will be one for the last DRS zone, I think, between Shakes and Wezzo. Sorry, J-Boy and Wezzo. Shakes and Brad are, I think, too far apart to have a go. Check out Dan and Martin once again. Too far apart, I think, this time, and in fact Martin has slipped out of DRS. Ricky perhaps just about close enough. Forgive me flicking around between battles. There's a lot at stake here at the final part of the race. Ricky, oh, just out of range, but J-Boy surely about to get the final DRS zone here. For him, we've got D-rating Wezzo on bad tyres ahead of him, much older tyres. Wezzo having to take this very, very gently, just keeping J-Boy guessing, but it's not enough to make the overtake for J-Boy. Brad will come through the penultimate corner, and Brad, he didn't get pole, but he took the win. Brad wins in Sochi from Shakes, who gets, I think, the fastest lap of the race as well, pending any late race developments. Wezzo trying to hold on for 3rd place here. Will be a photo finish, but J-Boy just couldn't get him. Nearly 0.2 of a second is all that separated Wezzo and J-Boy. Donovan crosses the line all alone without a front wing. That's one way to do it. And then Dan rounding the penultimate corner. Dan going for his first points here from way outside the top 10. Dan completes his mission and gets those first points in the championship. Well done to him. Then Martin in 7th. Jacques crossed the line in 8th place. Salzmeister for Mercedes in 9th. Ricky Lau in, well, I'd say 10th, but it's going to be pipped by Ron at least. Yeah, he definitely pipped by Ron to 10th place. Ricky Lau in 11th. an eventful race with Ricky and Salzmeister race long. Cowboy is a ways back here. Let's just check on that fastest lap situation. I think it will go the way of Shakes. Here comes Cowboy then to cross the line in P12. We have Botta in 13th, and Esitronic was lapped, so will finish 15th, has already crossed the line. Lord Cypher, not the best race from Lord Cypher, unfortunately, but did bring it home in the end, and you're always in with a shout after steward reports, aren't you, if you finish the race. So Dan picks up driver of the day, and I have to say I was going to give that to Dan anyway. Great result for him. I will try and get to speak to our podium at the end of the race, so stay tuned, and hopefully you can raise some questions if you keep them clean and nice. I will ask you a question to the successful drivers tonight. That is Shakes, Brad on top though, and Wezo, who secured the final position. I will take you through the grid, and then I'll go into the party. Hopefully Avalak will be organising my my party for me, but I'll get there shortly, just after I've finished going through the standings, the official standings, then provisional, prior to any reports through the week. Brad on top from second to first, 45-minute race time for Ferrari, and he completes the win. Then Shakes with fastest lap, damage limitation I guess, but a second place nonetheless. Brad Shakes, Wezo held on by just under 2/10 to J-Boy at the end of the race. Donovan, Dan scoring his first points in 6th, then Martin 8th, and Jacques, Salzmeister and Ron complete the top 10. Ricky Lau, Cowboy, Botta, Lord Cypher finished on the lead lap. Esitronic brought it home, and unfortunately we did lose Avalak, Punaki, Panda from the race, but to get 15 home is not a bad rate of return from 18 starters. I'm going to go to the party and see if we can speak to our top 3. Hey, thanks to Gerhard there. Nice to hear. Waiting to try and get hold of my party now. Hopefully we will be there for you just a moment. Just remember to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video as well, please guys. I'll just give it a minute and see if I can get hold of the guys. Hopefully we will. Let's see. Just waiting to hear, so just give me a moment. Okay. See if I can get hold of everybody shortly for you. But a cracking race around Sochi we had. What was your highlight if you're watching the live chat? Do you disagree with driver of the day? Would you give it to somebody else? For me, it was Dan scoring his first points with a very good controlled drive and some nice overtakes as well. Let's see if I can't get our drivers in. A little bit of a delay tonight. I think partly down to Avalak being suffering a DNF. He's on his way. He's going to try and help us out here with the podium interviews. In terms of points, you do get points down to 12th place at Full Throttle Racing this season anyway. Pole position, you get 2, fastest lap 1, but a Grand Slam would give you 5. So looks like Brad missing out on that one tonight. I don't think anyone's got the Grand Slam just yet. Did I hear the sound of a driver joining us in the party? Let's see, it's just me still on my own, doing my best for you guys. Oh, Avalak has started a separate party. I think I might have to go join that one. Or is he here, in fact? He has started a different one, I believe. So let me go and find that one. Here we go. Come in, podium drivers. This is Webbo. Finally got us all hooked up. Just check your party and broadcast audio settings are set to share. But hopefully we're good to go. Brad, you picked up the win in the end, and that was you didn't get your Grand Slam tonight. Pipped to pole by your teammate, but Brad, you got there in the end, and it looked like a good middle section of the race. You were able to pull out the gap on your teammate.
Yeah, Webbo. Shakes had a great qualifying lap.
Yeah,
there was no way that I could have matched that lap. I don't know where he came for that actually. And the race was tough. I was just trying to be consistent because my teammate was, keeping the pressure on me most of the race. So I just wanted to be consistent and not make mistakes, and it worked out nicely at the end.
We've seen you in different tracks have a bigger delta to your teammate. What was going on today? Why was it so much more competitive? Is it a lack of practice? What's the deal tonight?
No, I just want to try and be more consistent and not make mistakes. So because I threw away the win at Belgium as well because I wanted to be too fast, and I just told myself, just take it easy. You got it in the bag, and yeah, I didn't want to put pressure on myself. So yeah,
dialing it back slightly, you feel then tonight?
Yes, definitely, yeah, definitely.
Good stuff. Well, you need to get back on terms with your teammate. You've gained a few points tonight, although he did get the fastest lap in the end. So he's limited that gain, hasn't he?
It's going to be a good battle with me and Shakes till the end. 4 races to go, so let's go.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's a nice tight championship this time round, and so next time out, Singapore. How are you feeling about that?
I like Singapore. It's one of my favorite tracks, so looking forward to it.
Excellent. Well, we'll make sure to be watching you qualifying Singapore then. Thanks a lot. And congratulations on the win. Now, I don't think we've got Shakes in the party currently. Shakes, are you there?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Okay. I had to leave. I got a notification you left due to signal problems, but you're here. Congratulations, a good podium and a great pole position as well.
Yeah, thanks. It wasn't one of the easiest races, I must say.
Yep.
My hand started cramping up towards the end, so yeah. Brad was just a bit too dominant in Sector 3 because, I kept getting closer and closer to him, and then Sector 3 just pulled away from me.
Right.
So yeah, it was a intense race.
So was that a setup decision you made to favour the first 2 sectors, or is it just his pace in that final sector? Really tricky, that last one, isn't it?
Yeah, I just think his pace in the final sector was superior compared to mine.
And you seem to have a little bit more trouble getting through traffic after the pit stops.
Yeah, I had trouble with Wezo. and nearly took us both out. And then, yeah, I think that's when Brad started pulling away from me.
Got it.
It was a nice race.
Yeah, but a good result in the end. Lots of bonus points you managed to bag as well, but still leading the championship after this one. How are you feeling about the next run of 4 races to come?
Oh, Singapore is not one of my favorites.
Okay.
I'm not really good at that track, so I'm not looking forward to it, I must say.
Will you get much practice in between now and then?
Yeah, I'll try my best, eh?
Yeah.
I'll try my best.
Good stuff. Good to hear, and well done. Congratulations on a podium. Weze, were you with us?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. Well, Wezo, you got into the podium in the end. I have to say, I was questioning that strategy of trying to keep those tyres alive, but you just pipped J-Boy at the end.
Yeah, it was very tough because I think in lap 1, when the safety car came out, I went for the mediums and I took a gamble to go the long stint, waiting for another safety. Unfortunately, it never came. Then I just thought, oh well, let's just run it all the way. 26 laps on that mediums, they were quite short. I'm just happy that Shakes was patient behind me because I couldn't make my braking points anymore because that tires had no grip. But I didn't even try to fight them; they were too fast.
Yeah, you did try to fight him a little bit as he passed you towards the end. I did think
I can't make it easier. It's racing.
I did think that you might be in a better position with your overall race pace had you let them just breeze past you, but you can't really take the fight out of a racing driver, can you?
I agree with you on that one now.
Congratulations, a good climb up and a good finish in the end. So 3rd place and 4 races to go. Any highlights for you, the tracks to come?
Not really. It's a lot of difficult tracks this season, especially Singapore next week. I'll just hope for some rain. But yeah, like somebody said, Saudi's a nice track. It's very nice. I enjoy Jeddah.
Excellent. We should get some dramatic crashes and action around Saudi, but Singapore to come. It's a tough challenge for the drivers, and I'd rather be in the commentary box than driving that race, I have to say. Congrats, Wezo. Good to talk to you, and good to talk to our very sporting podium sitters. If it wasn't your race tonight, well, come back strong next week, and thanks to everyone for all the engagement on the channel. It's been a lot of fun once again, and thank you to Avalak for running the league and the division. This has been Full Throttle Racing's Division 2. Make sure you've subscribed to the channel for the Premier Division. I've been Webbo, at WebboRed5 on Twitter, and from all of us here at the race, we will catch you all on the next race day.